Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back for another week of Just a Fan Podcast. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right now. I
Whew.
am
This is an interesting week. This past weekend.
well, yeah, it was, man. But hold on. We about to get there. We about to get there. All right. I am your one quarter host, the NFL Encyclopedia, the Wildcat quarterback that runs this whole thing, Brandon Williams. And that way, right there. The defensive hunter comes
Duh.
straight out of H Town. Swisher House remix. Pando 316 right. What up?
This is an interesting weekend.
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic weekend, man. It was a
At the
fantastic. Hey,
very
hey,
least.
hey, look, man. Hey, look, man. They already getting started. They already getting started. Look at
Don't
that.
come on in, make comments, please, by all means.
They are already
Hail,
getting
hail to the Commanders. Yeah, yeah.
started.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
well,
Yes, sir.
I tell you what. Let's start off with that, man. Let's start off with that. So Washington played Philadelphia for the second time this season, but this time instead of Philadelphia winning, Philadelphia loses. So Eric, talk to me, man. How did Philadelphia lose to Washington, man? Talk to me.
I got one word for you, and that word is hubris. It's hubris. And if they continue along this trajectory, they could find themselves falling out of the NFC East race, or falling out of first place anyway, at the very least. Um, Basically, what's happening is, and we witnessed it the previous week, when they played. Let's see, who did they play that week? The Vikings.
Right.
They, you know, hey, we did. Oh, I'm sorry, not the Vikings. I'm sorry, I'm talking about the Eagles. The Eagles played the Vikings. I apologize. Um, I'm sorry. The Commanders played the Vikings. I meant to say I'm looking for who the
Commanders, Eagles. Commanders, Eagles.
right. Commanders, Eagles. No, I'm talking about week 9.
Okay.
It's about week 9. But let me see. Who was that they played? They struggled to beat a team.
Eagles struggle to beat the Texans.
That's what it was. It was the Texans. Yeah, that was my stone cold pick. Lock. Now they pulled that game off, and they won that game. But what I witnessed looking at it with my eyes was basically, sorry about that. What I witnessed with my eyes looking at that is that I saw a team that kind of was like reading their own press clippings, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Um, Everybody's talking about them. The media is all a buzz, and all of the sports outlets and all of this stuff, and these people are like, "Oh, the Eagles! The Eagles! Could they go undefeated? This, that, and the other." And they're like, "Yeah, well, we're that team. We're them, you know." So, we playing Houston. It's no big deal. And Houston gave them a game.
Sure did.
Wasn't supposed to, but that Lovie Smith coach defense gave them a game when it shouldn't have been a game. They should have just skull drug the Texans. But
But
the
also,
Texans
David Pierce ran for like what, a buck 36?
yes, yes, and gave a blueprint. Oh, wait a minute, this is how we can beat the Eagles. We can run this ball,
Mm-hmm.
and play some decent defense.
Yep.
And they weren't able to pull it out, but they made them look. Okay, I'm gonna give you a scenario. You remember the Rocky 4,
Yeah.
the big Russian Ivan Drago?
Right.
He looked invincible. He had just killed Apollo Creed in the ring, and whatever he hits, he destroys, all of that.
Right.
And then he gets into the fight with Rocky, and he's just beating Rocky up, and all of a sudden Rocky comes across with a hard right cross. Blah!
Right.
And he cuts him. He cuts Ivan Drago. Ivan Drago's bleeding. And you remember he's like, see, he's not a machine. He's just a man. He's just a man. He could be beat. Now, Rocky went on to win that fight. But what the Houston Texans did was basically go in and say, hey, these guys can be had. We're not
Yep.
quite strong enough to beat them. But if you paid attention, hey, they can be got.
Yes, they can.
Okay? And the Commanders, first of all, let's talk about this. It's a division game. Okay? It's a division game.
Yes.
All bets are off of division games. Okay? I don't care what your record is. I don't care who you think you are. Any of that. None of that stuff matters when you talk about division games. The rivalries are so, especially when we talking about these NFC East teams who've been around since Black Pepper was young. You know, you got these guys, these teams have been hating each other for decades.
Right.
So you can't just go tread lightly into you can't tread lightly into a game, a divisional game like that. You just
Not at
can't.
all.
You can't do that. And what happened was, to not to pontificate forever about it, but the Eagles went in, they saw Washington's record, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, we got these guys, just like we got the Texans." These are my opinions. I really feel like the Eagles have too big of a head. They have a really big head, and the issue is that if they don't learn from this, they're gonna get got again.
Oh yeah, of course.
They're gonna get got again. It's gonna be a problem, and people are not paying attention. That let me qualify this because I don't want people coming and say, "Oh, hey, he's bashing the Eagles. He's bashing the Eagles." I'm not. I'm really not. I think they're a good team. I think they're a very good team. However, if they don't buckle down and really take every single game they play seriously, they're going to find themselves on the outside looking in. Or they're going to find themselves at the very worst, at the very least, in a wild card spot when they could have been a division winner.
Yep.
They could have been the number one seed.
Exactly.
They're going to play their way out of the number one seed like that. But they are reading their press clippings. They're like, oh, we the Eagles, we invincible. We supposed to just show up and win. And it's like, no. And Washington came in and it's like, we got something for you.
And they had that ground game for them.
And the Eagles cannot stop the run.
Let me ask you another question too. I noticed that Philadelphia scored 14 points in the first half, but only 7 in the second half. Was that because Washington continued to run the ball, or you think Washington's defense was just showed up and had a true game plan for Philadelphia's offense?
Yes.
Yes to what?
What you just said.
Washington's defense?
No. All of the above.
All the above. Okay.
It's like, we closing in on Thanksgiving. It's like, hey, do you want turkey or ham? Yes. Okay. So, because it was Washington's defense played well. They created turnovers. The running game was pumping. Robinson coming off a doggone gunshot wound looked like he'd been shot out of a cannon. Okay.
And I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm happy for him because
great success story.
Yeah, because I mean, you coming out of a well-known local eatery around here, getting some food, and next you get shot for no reason.
Mind your own business.
Exactly.
Yeah, mind your own business.
You're probably trying this local eatery because it's a big name eatery. Like I said, locally, you never been here before, so you're trying to place out, and then you get shot.
Yeah, but not to digress from the point. The Eagles showed some vulnerabilities against the Texans, even though they won that game, and also by losing that game to the Washington Commanders. They showed the blueprint for how you beat the Eagles. Now, could the Eagles have, if they had those turnovers, could they have possibly pulled that game out? Yes. But they turned the ball over 4 times in that game, and they only turned it over 3 times in 8 previous games.
Mm.
You know, how they say everybody's due for a stinker? That was their stinker. Now, what's going to determine if they're championship material is going to be how they respond.
Now let
Now,
me ask you a question because they do
okay.
play the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, I know the Colts won on Sunday unexpectedly.
They better skull drag the Colts, and if they don't, then it's a problem. It's a problem.
Now, I also noticed that the head coach kind of called out the team. Was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Sirianni,
Yep.
time will tell. Again, it's how they respond is going to really determine what kind of team are they, championship material, or are they paper champions? How are they going to respond from this loss? Are they going to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and say, hey, man, we've been BSing because we've really been playing 3 quarters every game. They always take, and I'm quoting Jamal. I'm quoting you, dog. He knows what I'm talking about. I said our NFL chat group, but I'm gonna just quote him. He says the Eagles, and that was a very profound statement. He said the Eagles only play 3 quarters of football. Now, which 3 quarters you don't know, but they only play 3 out of 4 quarters. And if you could take advantage of the quarter that they don't play, you can beat them. He said that before they lost this game. And dare I say it, Jamal's a diehard Commanders fan.
Mm-hmm.
But he was absolutely right in what he was saying on that fact. It's facts. He's not lying. It's it's like, hey man, they don't play 3 quarters. It's like they take the 3rd quarter off some games. They take the 4th quarter off some games. They start slow, don't play the 1st quarter, then they turn it on 2nd, 3rd, 4th. If you go back and look at their games and sit up and look at the film, these guys do not play a full 4 quarters of football. And if they don't change this, they're gonna have problems down the line. Or they'll make the playoffs and they have problems in the playoffs. They got to stop reading their press clippings. So 1 or 2 things is going to happen after this week with the Philadelphia Eagles. Either they're going to say, hey, man, we got because we got caught slipping. It's time to stop getting caught slipping. Or they're going to be like, it was a fluke. They got lucky because we turned the ball over. We cold. We da-da-da-da-da. And they're going to lose some more games. It depends on the maturity of this team. What's going to happen with them the rest of the season? So we see, and they got a few more games where they playing some kind of lackluster opponents. It's not going to be the teams that's like, oh yeah, man, yeah, they a good team. We got to play these guys. We got to play them tough. There's Jamal. yes, Jamal. You were right. They're reading their press clippings. Jamal says they were reading their press clippings. Yeah, it was the entire sports media world was slurping up the Eagles. Okay, and they was, oh yeah, we are. I guess we are that, and that's what happened. But I hopefully for them, for their sake, that they'll wake up and say, you know what, we need to close out all the noise. We need to stop listening to what everybody is saying, and we need to focus on us and play Eagle football, and then try to close up these gaps that we have in our game, because they do have gaps in their game.
Oh yeah,
they're a good team. They're a good team, but there are like let me see. Put up that comment. I believe somebody, I think it was Jameson Owens, that said they can't stop the run. Yeah. So Jameson said they can't stop the run. This is facts.
and it's interesting
Which
too.
bring me to another team that can't stop the run that everybody's thinking is a contender when we go to our next topic. But if you can't stop the run, you're in trouble in the playoffs.
Definitely.
Because you got to bring your defense and your running game.
That's right.
So it's just a matter of how they're going to respond, and what kind of gumption, what kind of you know intestinal fortitude that the Eagles have. How they're going to respond to this? Now, dang it, man! Look at they better road grade the Colts. I don't care about that one little game that the Colts won. The Colts are not a good team.
Oh no, the Colts. That was the Raiders. So
Yeah, and the Raiders are horribly bad. What's it at the commercial with Andy Samberg and Snoop Dogg? That was incredible. I think it's really bad as the Raiders. So yeah, man. That it's not saying a whole lot. You beat the Raiders, So the Eagles are facing another bad team, which is in probably the worst division in the AFC, in the Colts. And I'll talk more about it with my picks. And if they don't win by at least 3 scores, then they still got problems. I'm sorry. They should win that game by 3 scores. They should. But we're going to see how they're going to respond. Next topic.
All right, next topic. All right. Staying within the division.
Okay.
The NFC East, that is, of course. The Green Bay Packers beat the Dallas Cowboys 31-28 in
overtime. Didn't I tell y'all I was going to clown? Boy, you know what? Ain't no Cowboy fans on the comments, huh? Yeah, they still hiding.
You know what? No, be honest with you.
I said that last week. Did I not say that last week? I said, y'all better beat Green Bay. If y'all don't beat Green Bay, I'm wrecking y'all next week. There's no excuse.
I don't think we have any Cowboy fans in the, ever in the chat.
No, we do sometimes.
Who?
We do. I know a couple of them.
Okay, you know them. I don't.
One of them is my cousin. So yeah.
Yeah, but
they're not saying that right now.
How many times does he come on?
He's been on several times. Prolific Rambo.
Oh, I haven't seen him in like weeks.
Yeah, I knew you ain't gonna see him tonight. I can tell you right now. Oh yeah, by the way, Steve say he don't feel so well. That's why he ain't on tonight. But y'all don't know, Steve's a Cowboy fan. All right, so yeah, I said y'all better beat Green Bay because again, if you're gonna call yourself a contender, you're supposed to be able to beat the bad teams. If you're gonna call yourself a contender, you're supposed to be able to beat the good teams. The Dallas Cowboys do not have a quality win this season against a quality opponent. Now, some people might say, hey, they beat the Bengals and the Bengals are doing really well. They beat the Bengals at a time where the Bengals were still didn't have their legs underneath them with that offensive line. I dare them to run up on the Bengals right now. They don't want to see this Bengals team right now. So that's the only, if you want to call it quality win, that's the only quality win that they've had. They have not beaten anybody. The defense is ranked high because they have not played anybody of note. That's why. That's like if I'm a boxer and I'm fighting 5th graders every week and knocking them out. I'm 47. I'm 230 pounds. That's not saying a whole lot. He's an undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion. I'm fighting 5th graders. Come on. Yeah, but Dallas defense, who you play? Who you didn't beat? You lost to the Eagles, who just lost to the Commanders. Come on now. You lost to a reeling Green Bay team. Reeling. Didn't have any identity as far as their offense was concerned. But doggone Aaron Jones ran for 139, I believe, yards. I think it was 139. Which brings me to my next point. Dallas is weak against the run. They brought in a whole defensive tackle to help shore up the run defense, and it's not working. They beat Chicago badly, but you know how many yards Chicago rushed as a team on Dallas? Do you know how many yards, Brandon? Brandon, quiet. 244. 244 yards they allowed on the ground. You can't stop the run. You're not going far in the playoffs. You're not. So, yeah. But Green Bay, I said y'all better beat Green Bay. I picked Dallas to win that game. I picked Dallas to win that game. And they didn't. You're supposed to beat the weak team. 3-6. Now 4-6. Yeah. 3-6 Green Bay. You're supposed to beat those guys. So that's going to take me into my picks later on. I'm going to talk about how are they going to respond. First of all, Mike McCarthy's an idiot. When you went for it on fourth down, that's insane. Trust your defense. Okay? You kick it. Here's what you do. If you don't trust your kicker to kick that field goal, that's fine. Go ahead, take a delay, back up your punter, punt it, and trust your defense. But he couldn't because Anthony Brown going to give up a touchdown. They talking about he had a concussion after he gave up that first down. No, somebody punched him in his temple on the sideline after getting torched like that. Somebody on the sideline, you let that damn rookie do that to you. Yeah, so that's where the concussion came from. So, yeah, the defense is suspect for the Dallas Cowboys. You've heard it here first. Because they have not faced anyone that has given them the heebie-jeebies on offense, except for last week. It's last Sunday. And that's a problem. Like, you got the high defensive rankings, but it's fluff because you're not playing anybody. Mike McCarthy's coaching is in question. Dak Prescott has a lower passer rating in the same amount of games as Cooper Rush. Dak Prescott's a $40 million quarterback. Of course, he's going to be the starter. He's going to remain the starter. Yeah, but
that's not competition. Cut, stop the cap.
Yeah. I'm not. No, I'm not even bringing up that quarterback controversy foolishness. He's a $40 million quarterback. He's going to play, but how well is he going to play? Because, and Steven said it best, he hasn't been right since that ankle injury. He has not been right since then. He has a thumb injury, comes back, he's not right. He wasn't right before the thumb injury. So, everybody, like I have a former coworker is blowing up he just created a group chat that nobody wanted to be in, a bunch of people that work. You had myself, you had another person that works with us that was a Saints fan, and there was another person Saints fan, another person I think is a Commanders fan. He just coming there just talking noise. Yeah, we them boys, it's gonna be special this year. You can hear a mouse peeing on cotton in that group chat now. Because I didn't respond. I was like, just wait. So, and then was really, really ridiculous. And Brandon, I know you're a Cowboy fan, but you're a 5%er. 5%ers are Cowboys fans that's got sense, because about 5% of their entire fan base that's got some sense. The other 95% are loud, obnoxious, and wrong generally most of the time. But they were celebrating the Eagles losing to the Commanders. The Eagles still run your division. You couldn't beat the Eagles. They still have a better record than you. And you just lost to a 3-6 team. How you gonna fix your mouth or fix your fingers to say anything about the Eagles losing? The Eagles got their problems, but have you beaten them? Oh, Cowboy Nation, I told you I was gonna let you have it because y'all ain't had no business losing to Green Bay at all. You're gonna call yourself the biggest baddest hog at the trough. For those of y'all from the country know about hogs, y'all know. The big hog push all the little hogs out the way when they throw feed in the trough. If you're going to be the biggest, baddest hog at the trough, you're going to talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. And right now, Dallas, you're in a wheelchair. Get mad. I don't care. Prove me wrong. I told you before, I'm not always right, but I'm more right than I'm wrong. Next topic.
I am going to correct you on one little thing, though. Bringing in Jonathan Hankins was not a mistake as far as stopping the run. It's not.
Didn't say it was a mistake.
Hold on. It's not running up the middle. It's more so running on the edges, especially opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence. One, um, not 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 too many of our defensive ends are good at setting the edge, and our force players don't do a good job of coming downhill and forcing runs back inside, or at least making tackles. So there's more so of that than up the middle.
Runs. Period.
No, it's not up the middle. I'm telling you that right now. It's not up the middle. It's on the edge.
I don't care if it's over the moon. You can't stop the run.
No, I know
Cannot.
that. No, no, but I just don't want you to think that it's just straight up the middle like all the time. No, it's not that.
I didn't say that.
You said
I,
Jonathan. You said Jonathan Hankins.
they brought in a defensive tackle to stop the run.
eh,
I didn't say to stop the run up the middle. I just said they brought in a D tackle to stop the run. Stop the run. Can you stop the run?
Up the middle, yes.
Okay. I'll just run on the outside. Can you stop that?
That's why I told you no.
Okay. I didn't say Jonathan Hankins was a mistake. I'm just saying the defense, the defensive ranking is fluff in Dallas. It's fluff.
All
That's
right,
what I'm saying. Next topic.
man. This had to be the game. What? Maybe of the season?
Amazing game.
Not just of the week, but of the season. Buffalo Bills versus the Minnesota Vikings, and the Minnesota Vikings win in overtime. You
That
have
game was
had to
insane.
watch.
That's probably the game of the year.
You had to watch the game, especially. Let's say just start. Let's just say just start at the last 3 minutes of the fourth quarter, going into overtime. You had to watch it. Who cares about the rest of the game? You could have watched the rest of it. Eric, talk to me about that Bills Vikings game, man. Talk
Man,
to
I don't
me.
even know where to start. Let me see. Like, where can I start? Because there was so many things. That hands down was probably the game of the year. It was wow. First thing first, thank God for Justin Jefferson and Stephon Diggs. They are a gift to the game of football. Both them brothers. They are exciting can be. You know, when it comes to that, man, the one-handed catches and we don't have any clips, do we? We don't have any clips of that, do we?
No, we don't have. Unfortunately, we don't have.
God, dog, man, the one-handed catches, both of them ate. Both of them ate.
Diggs and Jefferson, yes, sir.
But we also had some bruh moments in the game. And man, some came from Josh Allen. Because Josh Allen, which probably was the difference in this game, was Josh Allen's. I'm gonna have to say it. This is some boneheaded interceptions. Boneheaded interceptions. Like,
Okay, talk to me about those bonehead interceptions that old man Patrick Peterson picked off both of them. I was like,
both
what?
of them, they were gimmies. It's hard to explain without visual aids to show it. But the one that he threw in the end zone to Patrick Peterson, the first one, that's a clear, hey, I need to throw this ball away and live to fight another day. That's what that was. And he didn't. That's another instance of Josh Allen having a little bit too much, believing a little too much in himself. I can do anything. Okay, that's good to have a positive self-image like that. But Josh Allen's gonna have to curb that a little bit and play smarter. He's going to have to play smarter. As the season goes on, he's starting to see better teams. He's still got to see Miami again.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You know,
I
and
still gotta see the Jets again.
Miami is special. Miami is what San Francisco should look like. I'm gonna get to that later. More on that in a minute. But Miami is basically an example of what San Francisco should look like. And they are sitting on top of this division right now, you know, and nobody saw that coming. It's pretty impressive. But Josh Allen has got to start making better decisions.
Yeah.
Those two really bad is the overtime interception was horrible. And also, let's go ahead and just keep it a buck. They shouldn't even been going into overtime had it not been for that boneheaded fumble right there on the
Mm.
1 yard line that turned into a touchdown.
Touchdown.
You take the safety right there. You don't.
But
If you take the safety,
it was a fumble. It was a fumble snap exchange
right,
under
but
center.
the play calling wasn't that great. We're gonna run a quarterback dive, on the 1 yard line, knowing that just about 53% of the time that will get stuffed, and the quarterback goes what direction?
Backwards.
And you already on like the 1 millimeter line. You know what I'm saying?
So between that and the 2 interceptions, those were some of our. That's right. Some of
Yes.
our bruh moments from the weekend.
Yeah, I really like Buffalo, but they did that. They did that to themselves. And which brings me to my next point. We start talking about the Minnesota Vikings. Do they deserve some respect? Yeah, they've been playing some inspired football, but I'm not ready to say, "Oh, Minnesota's right there with the Eagles," and Kirk Cousins is still that quarterback.
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, I said
Kirk
last week. I said I still don't believe in Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins gonna have to do a whole lot more to make me believe in him. Right
Oh
now,
yeah, I agree.
I just they doing what they supposed. They winning like they need to win. They winning. They finding any kind of way to win. Can't get mad. Like they winning. No questions asked. They winning. But I don't know how long is this gonna take for this other shoe to drop. And maybe it won't. I don't know. Maybe that shoe won't drop. Maybe maybe they will be the it team at the end of the season. Maybe we will see an Eagles Vikings NFC championship. Maybe. But we still have a lot of football to play. It's a lot more football to play. And I just don't think it's not sustainable. I don't see. We know Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is probably one hair better than Jimmy Garoppolo. And we've all seen this movie, and we know how this movie ends.
Mm-hmm. You like that?
It ain't no spoiler alert. We've seen this movie before.
You like that?
And we know how it's like every black person that's seen the movie Friday. We know how the movie ends. Craig hit Debo with a brick, and Ray get his chain back. My grandmama gave me this chain. We know how it is.
And Smokey says, "You got knocked out."
Right. We know how this ends. So that's why I just don't believe in Kirk Cousins.
No, I don't believe in Kirk Cousins either. But I will say this though, it's interesting because Buffalo, man, they beat Kansas City and they were the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
But right now they're the number 3 seed in the AFC East.
You gotta keep winning. Because the AFC, we've already talked about that. We're doing our previews for the season, that the AFC was going to be stacked. And now you got some players. You have some players in this game that just entered the Game of Thrones that we didn't even know about. That's really making a name for themselves. Like some people that we had thrown dirt on this summer, and they like, no, we the Walking Dead. You have the Jets who are still playing good football.
Yes.
You have Miami, who's way better than we thought was going to be.
Yes.
Okay. So, and that's just those are teams in the East, which I really fervently believe that the AFC East is probably the best division in football right now.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the West, but it's the East.
Yeah, we were talking about the AFC West, Eric.
You just ain't gonna let that go, huh?
Nope.
Okay, well, we're gonna move on anyway. But it's still a whole lot of football left to play. And some of the people, you know how they say the last shall be first and the first shall be last?
Mm.
We could very well see that by the time week 17 comes around.
Yeah.
We could very well be seeing it. By the time the first week of the playoffs comes around, like, how did they get here? There's people that we're not looking at, or we didn't look at to begin with. We're like, oh, yeah, the Jets are going to be better than they were last year. But shoot, look at their record. Does everybody sit down and watch the Jets game? These guys ain't to be trifled with.
Nope.
They out here playing you,
Yes, they are. And
So,
they have a good defense.
and I am so sick and tired because there's some talking heads that's talking up San Francisco. Oh, they the best 500 team they are a threat to the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me tell you something. As a diehard 49er fan, when you play a LA Chargers team that was that decimated by injuries on the defensive side of the ball.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, Sunday Night Football, Niners and Chargers. Yes, the Niners finally beat a team with a winning record. Okay, great. But considering the position that team was in, and all of I'm going in on Kyle Shanahan again. You had your full complement of weapons. One, Deebo Samuel, Christian McCaffrey, Kyle Juszczyk, Jawan Jennings, who a lot of people don't realize has missed the third down for San Francisco. George Kittle, fully healthy. Okay? You had a bye week, 2 weeks to get ready for this team. Then 3, this team is decimated by injuries. Decimated. 4 of their top 5 receivers were out. No Joey Bosa. The defensive line, they were down to like 2 they finished the game with like 2 defensive linemen, interior defensive linemen. Decimated by injuries. And you mean to tell me all you could score was 22 points? And you want to call yourself a contender? There's no way that game should have even been in question at the beginning of the third quarter. Fourth quarter. But everybody's, Kyle Shanahan's a genius. Kyle Shanahan. Man, miss me with that. For real. There's no way. You got Elijah Mitchell back, who hadn't played since week 1 because he had an MCL sprain. And he played great. He had almost a 5-yard average. But you mean to tell me you had all these jokers at your disposal? Are you supposed to be an offensive genius? And you playing a team with a decimated defense and all you could score was 22 points?
Mm.
They were in the red zone. Let me see. I want to say it was 5 or 6 times they were in the red zone. Field goals.
Field goals, that's it?
Only 2 touchdowns.
Ouch.
Yeah. So, like, I can't buy into the whole thing where San Francisco's a dark horse right now. I can't buy into that. I can't buy into that because, from what I'm seeing is like the offense is still deficient, even with all these weapons. Everybody's healthy, and it's almost, you can look at a 49ers game. You can basically say, okay, this is a outside zone run to Deebo Samuel, and that's what it is. And of course, the defense jumps on it. And if it wasn't for just the natural raw ability of Christian McCaffrey and his vision, he wouldn't get the stuff he's getting. So it's the NFC is a big enigma wrapped in a riddle in a puzzle box. We don't really know who's good in the NFC right now. Nobody's passing the smell test. If you want to be honestly, take your fan hat off and really look at it objectively. None of these teams in the NFC are impressive. Not one. Not one. Are there some good teams? Yes. But there's nobody that's like, whoa, no. And if you're looking at that, if you're saying, yes, there is, either you're a delusional fan or you're a hater. Period. If you're looking at it objectively, none of these NFC teams are impressive.
No, not at all. Not at all.
None of them. None of them. Because you can go down the list. The Eagles got a mentality issue. The Minnesota Vikings still have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback.
The New York Giants still have Daniel Jones at quarterback. The Seahawks have Geno Smith at quarterback. And no, he's not the GOAT, Jamal.
Yeah. Geno Smith's not special because if you shut down Kenneth Walker, you've beaten the Eagles. I mean, excuse me, the Seahawks. You've beaten them. Okay. So they're not special. The 49ers have Kyle Shanahan as a coach.
And the Cowboys can be a cow.
The Cowboys have Mike McCarthy as a head coach, Dak
hey.
Prescott as a quarterback. Yeah. So, all of those are red flags. All of them.
Which means that some team in the AFC, whoever gets to the Super Bowl, should win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, the AFC is clearly the stronger conference. They are clearly the stronger conference. Clearly. There's no, I mean, anybody who wants to debate about that, they can. But no, it's really not a debate. The AFC is a stronger conference at this point. Now, could things change for the end of the season? Absolutely. You can start having NFC teams go off. It could happen.
Yeah, I mean it can, but right now I just don't see too much of a difference happening right now. I mean, we're almost at a point in time in the season where you are who you are.
Yeah.
Unless you make a major change. I mean, you can't make a trade because trade deadline is over. The only big name free agent worth signing is going to be a healthy Odell Beckham. So, I mean, you're gonna have to make a big change, whether it's roster or how you
and I don't even want to get
into teams, huh?
Yeah, I don't even want to get into the Odell Beckham sweepstakes. I don't even want to talk about that right now.
No, I'm not getting into it, but I'm just saying no one's going to be able. Most teams are who they are right now this season at this point.
Yeah. I don't see anybody turning the corner. They're going to be what they're going to be.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to be the difference is going to be, I think, injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries. That how healthy can a team stay? That type of deal. That's pretty much it. So, yeah, the NFC is just it's very unspectacular to me because there's every team in the NFC that someone would even begin to claim as being great. They have a chink in their armor, huge chink in their armor. Now, some of these chinks in the armor are easy to overcome, or can be overcome. Some of them you just can't get over until next year when you get some different personnel, different coaching, different quarterback, so on, so on, so on. Okay, depends on who the team you're talking about.
Right.
Okay, so worst division in football right now. We want to talk best and worst. NFC is got to be the East, despite all of their misgivings this past week.
Yeah, NFC East is the best. Yep. I just had it up. I don't know why I took it down.
And the absolute worst is probably the South.
Oh, NFC South is clearly the worst. Let me go to standings real quick. Give me a second. So in the NFC East, you have Philadelphia at 8-1, New York Giants at 7-2, Dallas at 6-3, and the worst team is 5-5, which is Washington, sitting straight at 500. The NFC South, Tampa Bay is 5-5 with the best record, which is same as Washington.
So basically, the best team in the South would be in last place in the East.
The East, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta's 4-6, and Carolina and New Orleans are tied at 3-7. So yeah, the NFC South is just terrible this year. And to me, not only they the worst division in the NFC, to me they're the worst division in the NFL right now.
Who's that? The South.
NFC South, in my opinion.
Yeah, when your best team is 500, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a big problem.
And I think the only reason why they even at 500 is because of Tom Brady. If they didn't have Tom Brady, they would be worse than what they are, and we'd be looking at Atlanta at 4-6.
Which they're a mystery because I don't think they're that good, but if you catch them at the right time, they'll kick your butt.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the best way to describe them.
yeah. And they still building that team. The head coach is in the second year. Um, but I think next year he's going to have to start showing a little bit more than what he's showing this year.
Yeah. So I that man that South is a mess.
It is. It is.
So moving on, let's go ahead and get these picks out the way because we can running short on time, and I got to do my fantasy lineup for this week and go in the waivers and see who I can pick up because I have some guys on the buy. So week 11 picks. All right. So the first thing we have is the Titans at the Packers. So few words about this matchup. The Titans are kind of on a high, they're pushing, but then again, the Packers have just got off the schneid from getting a 6-game losing streak. We're gonna find out who's on more of a high right now. Seems to that Aaron Rodgers has got a little bit more trust in Christian Watson at wide receiver. So much so he wasn't even throwing at Sammy Watkins or Lazard as much. Now Lazard and Watkins had some big catches in that game against Dallas, but Christian Watson has turned into a certifiable weapon for Aaron Rodgers, which is what he was looking for the whole time. Maybe the chemistry's there. So I'm going to go with the Packers over the Titans. But yes, I'm going to go with Packers over Titans.
You know what?
Packers are at home. It's probably cold as I'll get out up there.
Yeah, because it was like 35 degrees when Dallas when that game kicked off. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna agree with you, and here's the reason why I'm agree with you. Green Bay's the better quarterback.
Yeah,
they have the better quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. Green Bay just load the box against Tennessee, put 9 in the box, and keep it moving.
Force Tannehill to beat you with his arm.
Yes, exactly.
And if that's the case, then if everybody's healthy in that Green Bay secondary, I trust Green Bay.
No, everybody's not healthy because they missing Eric Stokes, who's out for the season.
That's right. Yeah, the other corner.
The number 2 corner.
Yeah, he's the number 2 corner. So,
yeah.
I like the Packers in a 1-score game.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay.
Bears at Falcons.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's almost a pick'em game, but I still feel like Mariota is gonna go out there and screw up something. And throw
right now I trust Justin Fields. I trust Justin Fields more than I trust
Justin Fields is starting to mature at the quarterback position. Now we ain't gonna really see him peak until probably next season, but we're seeing flashes of his maturity as a passer. And he still has the ability to use his legs and make some plays happen when nothing's there. So I like the Bears over the Falcons because if the Panthers can beat the Falcons, the Bears definitely can. And let's be honest, the Panthers should have swept the Falcons if it wasn't for DJ Moore. And the kicker.
Helmet.
Yeah. So the next game. Here's the one, the big one we talking about, the Eagles at the Colts. Listen to me right now. If the Eagles do not skull drag, mollywop, I'm trying to think of another term to use for a bad demolish, pummel, plunder the Colts. If this is still a game in the fourth quarter, the Eagles will have failed, even if they win this game.
Yes,
I have the Eagles winning this game handily, but we need to see how they can respond after that loss. We've never seen them lose before. Some teams go into a funk when they lose that first game after they won so many in a row. Other teams, they get even better. They needed to lose that game to actually break into their final form, if you could say.
Right.
So this loss for the Eagles is going, like I said, it's going to galvanize them and make them even better team, or they're going to go in the can. Now, when I say go in the can, I don't mean miss the playoffs or anything like that, but they should be the 1 seed in the NFC. and they shouldn't lose it. The one
Right.
seed. So I see that I got the Eagles handling the Colts by at least 2 or 3 scores. Okay. Um, Jets at the Pats,
Division game.
divisional game. And you know how divisional games are. The Patriots are at home. They're the favorite, but I like the Jets and that defense. I like the Jets and that defense. I think that they're gonna clamp down on these Patriot receivers.
Yep.
I think the
Sauce
front
Gardner.
seven. I think the front seven strong enough to stop the running game of the Pats.
Yep.
I think they can win this game.
I think so too.
I think they can win it with a late field goal or something like that, something along those lines, or making a great defense, getting the lead and making a great stop late in the game and winning this game against the Pats.
Exactly.
Okay, Commanders at Texans. Now, the Commanders are on a high.
Mm.
That's good, and it can be bad
Yes.
because they can start believing that they the biggest baddest hog at the trough. Going there to Houston, who is not Houston this year is what Detroit was last year.
Yes.
And if they're not careful, Houston will run the ball down their throat
Mm-hmm.
and play some defense.
Now, hold on now. I will say this. Hold on. Payne and Allen are both good at stopping the run up that middle.
Yeah.
And this is the game that Chase Young does come back.
So I look for them to put a lot of pressure and a lot of hurting on
Davis
Mills.
Mm-hmm.
But the defense is gonna keep it interesting. Houston's defense is gonna keep.
Oh yeah, they are. They are.
I actually see them probably picking off Heineke once or twice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. No. They have a good secondary. Derek Stingley Jr. and Jalen Petrie, the nickel corner.
Yeah, Jalen Petrie's he's safety.
I thought he was a nickel corner.
In some packages they put him in.
Okay.
But yeah, I still got Commanders winning this field goal, maybe a touchdown.
Right.
At the most, a touchdown. At the very least, is a field goal because Houston gonna play them. Houston is going to.
I'm gonna tell you what Houston's problem been this whole season, because they don't have the personnel, they don't have the players yet. They do good on offense, but when they have those penalties or turnovers, it hurts them too much. They probably could have had a lot more wins this year if they don't have so many penalties each game.
Young team,
turnovers,
immature.
Yeah.
So I think I still got Commanders winning this game handily, by at least a score. And especially with Chase Young, talking about Chase Young coming back, he's finna give them fits coming around that edge if he's healthy. Because you can come back, that practice window can be open. You can be saying, he's on paper, he's healthy, but we all know sometimes those guys are not 100%. But if Chase Young is 100%, it's about to be some problems. It's about to be some problems in some situations. Okay, along with the rest of that defensive line of the Commanders, which is the strength of their defense, basically. So we'll see. But I got Commanders winning that one. Rams versus the Saints.
Oh God.
Now, I'm pretty sure when they booked this game to go on TV before the season started, this is probably going to be billed as a playoff preview. Neither one of these teams is going to the playoffs. I'm sorry, Saints fans, but dear God, y'all got to do something. Y'all got Andy Dalton is not what's up. Neither is Taysom Hill.
Hey, I said it for 2 or 3 weeks.
Taysom Hill is a tight end. He's not a quarterback.
Andy Dalton's feeling throw the ball to Pam Oliver. He's feeling throw the ball to the cameraman.
He'll turn his name into a verb. He's gonna Dalton it up.
That's right.
Okay. So yeah,
names into verbs.
And I feel like he's gonna throw a few to the Rams. Thinking he plays for the Rams or something. He's gonna throw a few.
He's definitely gonna throw a couple back too.
Yeah. And I don't know if Matt Stafford's back. That's another thing. Is he back?
Oh yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. Ooh.
So also
Oh, and Cooper Cup is out.
Cooper Cup's on IR.
Yep. For
So
4
if
weeks.
Cooper Cup doesn't play, we know he's not. And if Matt Stafford is not playing, give me the Saints in this game. Dallas needs to play it safe, run the football, and get out of there with a W.
Yes. Yes.
You're at home. You're in New Orleans. Let's act a fool. You know what I'm saying? So I
Those fans need to be loud.
I like the Saints over the Rams. They're gonna
Yes.
be loud. Look it up. It's gonna be Thanksgiving, the week before Thanksgiving. They finna act a fool.
Yes.
So give me the Saints over the Rams by a field goal. Okay. Next game, Browns at Bills. This is another how do they respond game.
Yes.
Now, typically, we've seen them lose games and they come back breathing fire the next week. So I got the Bills in this one. The Browns have dropped the last two, I believe. I think it's the last two. I think it's the last, yeah. But the Browns did drop one to Miami. Miami went out there and just ran roughshod over them. Still no sign of Deshaun Watson yet. It's not time yet. So I like the Bills over the Browns. Wait, is Deshaun supposed to play this week or next week?
I think it's next week. I don't think it's this week.
Okay. So yeah, I like the Bills over the Browns. I think they're gonna respond. And I think the Bills has got to get their running game a lot better than what it is. You getting 3rd and 1. Stop trying to throw the freaking ball on 3rd and 1. Line up and run it. Make a hole and put somebody through that hole for that 1 yard. They getting those 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s. They feel like they need to drop Josh Allen back, and then Josh Allen goes out and scrambles outside, and it's not sustainable. He gonna get hurt. He gonna get hurt for real. Not like, oh, I just hurt my elbow, but I can play this week. No, he gonna get hurt for real. I know he's big, Bills fans. I know he's got good legs, but that's not sustainable, and there's a whole lot more football to play.
Here's the thing for Deshaun Watson right here, Eric.
I'm listening.
Titus says he's only allowed to practice.
Right. No, I know that practice window's open for him, but yeah, he actually gets to play until he doesn't get to play until week 12. If I'm not mistaken.
12 or 13, something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I got the Bills in this one. But stranger things have happened. All right, next game, Panthers at the Ravens. Panthers at the Ravens.
Oh God. Okay, I should have known you was going in.
That is my stone cold lock of the week. The Ravens are going to they putting Baker Mayfield back at quarterback
for the
Panthers. I don't think I need to say nothing else.
You know, actually, it wouldn't matter who would have been the quarterback, whether it been Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold.
No. Because PJ Walker was actually playing pretty decent.
No, he was. I will give you that. That's why. But you notice I didn't include his name.
Mm-hmm. So like, they might have had somewhat of a chance with PJ Walker playing for him, but you putting Baker Mayfield back in the lineup. Child, bye. Okay, Lamar Jackson is gonna Lamar Jackson it, and they're gonna run the ball a lot, and Roquan Smith is just gonna clog up things for the Panthers, who are reeling now that they don't have Christian McCaffrey anymore. Their running game is not what it once was. So yeah, that's
anything on offense except for DJ Moore.
That's my stone cold lock.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah, and Baker's gonna go out there and throw some picks.
Yeah, at least 2 or 3.
Yeah. So moving on. Lions at Giants. Again, this is another game that when they booked this game and put it on the schedule before the season started, everybody's going, oh, this is going to be a yawner. This is going to be a melatonin game. Hey, man, let me tell you something. And you know, because we on the same page with this one.
Yes.
The Lions ain't to be sneezed at.
Nope.
Are they going to make the playoffs? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Are they gonna play spoiler for some folks and mess up some people's records? Absolutely.
Yes.
They have the ability to mess up some people's records.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Well, we was a 3 seed. Now we the doggone 6 seed. We played the Lions. That's what they gonna do. They playing spoiler the rest of this season, messing people's stuff up. They out there playing. The Lions are out there playing like they finna make the playoffs, and they not. They not. So it's fun watching the Lions play. They play with so much vigor and energy, and I hope they leave Dan Campbell alone and let him build that team up, because they're gonna be something special with some better quarterback play. But I still got the Giants winning this one. It's a pick'em game. It's a pick'em, but I got the Giants winning because they're the home team. So,
and I do expect Jared Goff to struggle against that Wink Martindale defense.
And then the next game, I have the Raiders at the Broncos. This is another who gives a damn game.
Oh, these games.
This is another who gives a damn game. I mean, if you want to be really technical, the Rams and Saints is a who gives a damn game anyway, too. But the Raiders and the Broncos, who gives a damn? The only reason why the Saints isn't and the Rams is not a who gives a damn game is because the NFC South is so out of whack that before this season is over, the Saints could be the number one team in that division if they play their cards right. That division is so bad they could get up there. There's still a shot for all four teams in that division. So, but going back, the Raiders and Broncos, we know they're not going anywhere, so nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. So the Raiders do not have Darren Waller.
Nope.
They do not have Hunter Renfrow. Derek Carr is going to try to force the ball to Adams.
And Josh McDaniels do not have to be a head coach.
The Broncos secondary is good enough to close all that down. And let's hope Russell Wilson doesn't mess anything up. Hey, baby. That's my boo mama right there.
Space age forever.
That's my boo mama. She just said, hey.
Space age forever.
Yeah, the Broncos, they're going to I forgot to mention my girlfriend is a Raiders fan. I am so sorry, honey. We're house divided because, I'm a Niners fan. She's a Raiders fan, but.
You know what? The Raiders should go back to Oakland and y'all be Bay Area divided.
I'm not moving out there. So anyway, moving on.
Bay Area divided.
I got the Broncos over the Raiders. I'm sorry, honey. I'm taking off. I'm being completely objective. The Broncos are gonna win that game. So, and it's gonna be ugly. Yeah, Britton J, go Niners. Yeah, go Niners. I don't know where the hell they going, but yeah. Shit. Like I said, I'm a Niners fan, but I'm also their harshest critic. All right, next game is a pick'em. This is Cowboys versus Vikings. It's a pick'em game. Vikings are at home. The Vikings are on a high after beating Buffalo
Bills
in overtime. Craziest game of the week. The Cowboys are reeling from losing to a very bad Green Bay team. Now, again, it's one of those how do they respond games. The Vikings could lose this game because they're on such a high from this game. That was a big emotional win. They could still be riding the wave, which case they steamroll Dallas, or they could just be like, yay, we're not really paying attention to what's going on, and they lose to Dallas. It's possible. And also, it's one thing we always got to remember. Kirk Cousins is the quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings.
That's right.
And no, I don't.
Like that?
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Matter of fact, I got a good idea. After you cut Jimmy Garoppolo after the season, you need to trade.
I'm about to get up and leave. Don't say nothing that disgusting ever again to me.
What?
You just called me out my name when you bring in Kirk Cousins after cutting Jimmy. No, That's the same damn quarterback. Okay, do you want a 1990 Yugo or a 1991 Yugo? That's basically Kirk Cousins is a 1991 Yugo.
Trey Lance for Kirk Cousins.
Good night, y'all. Say something that's crazy. Don't ever say nothing that crackish to me again. Kirk Cousins has yet to have a stinker game. He's about to have one. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week, but you always hold the door open. Leave the door open. So I still had the Vikings winning by 3 in this one. It's going to be really bad if the Cowboys lose 2 in a row because that division is so tightly contested. They could fall. Where are they? 3rd now?
Yeah.
If the Cowboys lose this game, the Eagles win their game like they supposed to. The Commanders win their game like they supposed to. The Giants win their game, even though it's going to be a tough one. By the end of the week, Dallas could be at the bottom of that division. Yeah.
Hold on. Wait a minute.
Wait. They're one game ahead of.
Okay, so the thing is, Dallas hasn't played as many games as Washington, so they would be a half a game in front of
A
Washington.
half a game. Okay. All right. So Washington had that bye. So yeah, they could still be sitting at 3rd by the end of this weekend. So yeah, that's bad.
But even even if Dallas if Dallas wins, Giants win, and Philadelphia win, Dallas still sitting at 3rd.
Yeah. So now here's the thing. That's something you got to consider. We win, we in 3rd. We lose, we in 3rd.
That's crazy.
Think about it.
That's crazy.
Think about it.
That's crazy.
So where's the urgency? Now it could be, well, we need to be able to prove ourselves because that would be considered a quality win. This is that quality win that we're looking for Dallas to finally have that they have not had all year by beating Minnesota. So this is a high stakes game for them still. I ain't gonna sit up here and say, well, we win, we 3rd, we lose, we 3rd. They got to win this game because they got to be able to prove themselves.
It's on Mike McCarthy again. And let me say this, and I might say this on the show. I'm not sure. Jerry Jones has stated that now he is 80 years old. He is trying to get some kind of Super Bowl ring before he goes. I'm not saying he's getting it this year. He's trying to get a Super Bowl ring before he goes. So Mike McCarthy needs to get it together these final remaining games of the season, or he could be gone.
You're not gonna win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy. I'm sorry.
I'm just telling you what I know. Mike McCarthy needs to get it together.
A lot of things have to move around for Mike McCarthy to win a Super Bowl in Dallas.
I know.
It has to be one of those perfect scenario type situations, like when the Rams won a Super Bowl last year. Everything has to bounce Dallas's way for Mike McCarthy to win.
Because Dallas is in 3rd place in that division. Dallas cannot be 3rd place in that division. 2, Dallas cannot be eliminated from the wild card. Those are 2 things I think that cannot happen.
Yeah,
Mike McCarthy. There's a strong chance Mike McCarthy could be gone by the end of the season.
It's possible because that loss is a lot of that loss is on him.
Yeah,
on 4th down
because you came off a bye week. The team lost 5 games in a row. They were missing 2 crucial players on defense. They had other players on offense and defense that was still somewhat hurt.
The game should have never gone.
That's a game that Dallas really should have annihilated Green Bay. And I know I'm only a 2nd-year coach, but I'm like, yo, you should know the magnitude of the game, man. That's your chance to not only just beat Aaron Rodgers, but just make it so much harder for Aaron Rodgers to make it to the playoffs. I'm not saying
fun fact.
But you want to make it as hard as possible.
Fun fact, did you know that the Dallas Cowboys have never beaten Aaron Rodgers?
Wait a minute, I thought we beat them at least once.
I don't think they beat Aaron Rodgers. I don't. As a starter.
I'm about to look into that.
Yeah. And if they have, it's like 1 and whatever. They might have
But yeah,
been.
I know it's only like one game.
Yeah,
It
that
is one game. I think it is
like
one game though.
Aaron Rodgers owns the Dallas Cowboys.
There's a lot of teams that owns the Dallas Cowboys. Tom Brady owns the Dallas Cowboys.
Tom Brady has stock in that Colt company as well. But yeah, they gonna have to respond. If they gonna call us, if they gonna beat them boys, they gonna have to respond and beat a team that's got a winning record. They're gonna have to, and because they have no quality wins this year.
Hey Titus, let me say something real quick. I did say last week that the head coaches can be traded. And when I made that comment, that was referring to possibly Sean Payton. Now, is he going to end up in Dallas? I'm not sure. But
I would actually be afraid of Dallas if Sean Payton was their coach.
I
I would be like,
was referring to that. And matter of fact, hey, real quick, Eric, sorry to cut you off. Let me just say this too. Since we're on head coach, real quick. There's a report / rumor, and to me, I think this is very strong. There's a head coach, a long tenure head coach. I don't know who it is that could be stepping down this season.
It's either Belichick or Carroll. It's either Belichick or Carroll.
I said that a few weeks ago that one of those two could end up stepping down.
It's either Belichick or Carroll. It's one of them two. It's one of them.
So this offseason is already shaping up to be very interesting.
Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, Sean Payton gonna jump in one of them. He gonna jump into one of them spots, one of them teams that's not that bad off with a coach that steps down. So he ain't got to build from the ground up, and then it's gonna be problems.
Yeah.
It's gonna be big problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving back on, give me the Bengals over the Steelers. TJ Watt's back. I get that. I get it. The Bengals. This is gonna be the first really big test for the Bengals offensive line in this part of the season, because they were still getting some synergy. They were still trying to gel earlier in the year when they lost a few games, but now that offensive line is playing so much better, and they're more of a cohesive unit now. But TJ Watt's back. We're going to see just how Cam Hayward's rushing. We're going to see just how good that offensive line is. I don't trust Pittsburgh's secondary. Minka Fitzpatrick is out. Akella Witherspoon is horrible. So I really like the Bengals
Yes.
over the Steelers by a touchdown.
Yes.
At least. I'm looking at Pickett to make a few rookie mistakes, and yeah, so I got the Bengals over the Steelers in this one. I left off one. Last game, next to last game, Chiefs and Chargers. Okay, Chiefs and Chargers. I got the Chiefs over the Chargers. You gotta see I feel like the Chiefs are gonna do to the Chargers what the Niners should have done to the Chargers. Especially if the Chargers have all those injuries still. Now they get a few guys.
Your boy loves being in Kansas City after being traded from New York.
Kadarius Toney.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Chiefs have a new weapon, and again, I think the Chiefs are more dangerous without Tyreek Hill and more of these other weapons around now. The question is Juju Smith-Schuster going to clear concussion protocol before this game? We don't know. He got knocked. Chris Tucker, Smokey. If you've seen Friday, I know what I'm talking about in that game. I do think it was a clean. I think it was a clean hit. The guy led with a shoulder. That's a whole nother topic we could talk about. Was these personal fouls and these ejections for these hits? But
I didn't see that. I'm about to go look at that. Then.
Oh man, it was rough. But I think the Chiefs are gonna beat the Chargers, especially the Chargers still have all these injuries.
Yeah,
it may not be close. It may not be close.
Isn't Keenan Allen still hurt and Mike Williams?
Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are still hurt.
Oh yeah.
J.C. Jackson's out for the year.
Oh,
Joey Bosa's
that
out.
that
They lost another defensive tackle last
this
month.
wasn't your Stone Cold lock.
No, it's not, because it's a divisional game. It's a divisional game. You know,
I
all bets off in divisional games.
I hear you, man,
We
but
see the divisional game. Divisional game.
I know.
Everybody and their mama had the Eagles beating the crap out of the Commanders last week. You had the Commanders winning that game.
I didn't.
Come on,
I
Brandon.
didn't. I was on
when I said the Eagles gonna win that game, you didn't say no. You didn't say that.
I was on the fence.
Okay. But almost everybody in America, if you put a gun to their head and say Eagles or Commanders before that game was played, everybody was gonna say Eagles. Unless you're a Commanders fan. And then you had Commanders fans like, nah, the Eagles gonna beat us. So but yeah, give me the Chiefs over the Chargers, and I think it's gonna be it's gonna be a handy win. Last game, Monday Night Football, Mexico City. Cardinals at Niners. Well,
that's gonna be in Mexico City?
Yeah. Give me the Cardinals over the Niners.
Huh?
Yes.
Eric,
listen to me.
Kyler Murray might not be playing. Zach Ertz.
Exactly. That's why I said give me the Cardinals over the Niners, because Colt McCoy is going to start, and Colt McCoy had last year with less weapons did us dirty in Santa Clara. I'm more scared of Colt McCoy starting than I am of Kyler Murray starting.
Actually, I don't blame you, cuz.
Okay. Second of all, Kyle Shanahan is the head coach.
So is Cliff Kingsbury.
So we're gonna see who's gonna screw up first, or screw up the most. But here's the thing: Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback.
I would trust Kyle.
Jimmy Garoppolo is a quarterback for the 49ers.
I would trust a combination of Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy Garoppolo more so than Cliff Kingsbury and.
Let me tell you something.
And Colt McCoy.
Let me tell you something. Jimmy Garoppolo has probably been playing the last 2 or 3 weeks, has been playing the best football of his career. That's a problem. He's due for a stinker. He's gone too long without having a horrible game. It's coming. It's coming. Just like when Mariah Carey raises from the dead right around this time of year to sing All I Want for Christmas Is You. It's coming. It's undeniable. Okay? It's coming. Will it come this week? Will it come later on? He's due for a stinker. I'm telling you, he's due for a bad game. And Buda Baker just out there roaming. Okay?
That's why you should bring up Kirk Cousins.
I'm finna go. You talk about Kirk Cousins, San Francisco one more time. One more time. I dare you. I double dare you. Bring up Kirk Cousins one more time. I'm logging off. We're going to end this broadcast without even doing right. I'm serious. Why would we want to trade in, get rid of one bum to bring in a higher quality bum? It's just a bum in a suit with a chain and piece. That's all. Hell, I know Vikings fans that don't like Kirk Cousins. They're like, man,
I'm not surprised.
We probably could win the Super Bowl if Kirk Cousins wasn't our quarterback. That's a real quote from a Vikings fan.
I'm not surprised.
Like, yeah, man, if we had just a little bit better quarterback, we could win it all.
Hey, could you imagine if they had just kept Case Keenum instead of going with Kirk Cousins?
But you like that. So, but getting back to what I was talking about, give me the Cardinals over the Niners. Jimmy Garoppolo's due for a stinker. Kyle Shanahan has all these weapons and does not know what to do with them.
All right.
I'm really just frustrated because there's Mike McDaniel, the coach of the Miami Dolphins, is showing what San Francisco's offense is really supposed to look like.
Ends up.
He's literally showing, hey, y'all remember how San Francisco's offense looked and then it stalled out in certain spots? Okay, y'all, this is how it's supposed to look. We're in Miami. This is what it's supposed to look like. You see that? I got 2 running backs that's killing them because I platoon them. I don't want to run one of them into the ground and then put another one in and run him into the ground. I actually keep a fresh running back in the game. My quarterback is actually making smart decisions. Yeah, so Mike McDaniel, I still say Mike McDaniels was the brains of the outfit. The genius stuff is an illusion for Kyle
You know
Shanahan.
what?
Until he shows me different, the genius moniker for Kyle Shanahan is a fallacy. Mike McDaniel.
Since Mike McDaniel's in Washington, since Mike McDaniel's in Washington when RG3 had that fantastic rookie year,
Mm-hmm.
makes me wonder how much Mike McDaniel was the difference maker as designing stuff for RG3.
When I tell you, and y'all can put on the tinfoil hats all you want, I'm telling you, Mike McDaniel is showing. He is literally showing the world this is what the offense is supposed to look like. This is how it's supposed to run.
And you know what? Defense gonna have a hard time figuring that out because no one has seen him by himself before. He's been under everybody else.
Yes, and he's out from the shadows, and he's like, "Look at me, see me in all my."
It's his chance to shine. Defensive coordinator's gonna have a hard time with him.
I'm
for
trying
at
to.
least 2 more years.
So what I'm saying is, and this is my point, and I got into it with some other 49ers fans, like, because I was criticizing the win on Sunday night against the Chargers. I'm like, there is no way you're supposed to have those type of weapons and only score 22 points and stall out. I think they stalled out in the red zone like 5 times that game. That should have been a blowout, especially when your defense is keeping you in the game. Because San Francisco's deep, that's the only thing San Francisco is riding off on is their defense. And they were out there with 3/4 of the defensive line missing. 3/4 of the defensive line was not there. The only starting defensive lineman that played in that game Sunday night was Nick Bosa.
Mm.
The other 3 guys are backups. San Francisco has yet to field all 4 of their starting defensive linemen this season.
Well, hopefully you get the other 3 guys back soon.
I'm hoping so. Now, once that happens, San Francisco's gonna prove that they're a top 5 defense because they got some games they're gonna have to prove it.
Yeah,
everybody's like, well, they got blown out by Kansas City, but the thing is that you had what was it? They lost Atlanta and Kansas City, and both those games they had 9 of 11 defensive starters out. 9 out of 11 were out. In the Atlanta game, it was 7 out of 11. So, but San Francisco's yet to field a healthy team this season, and won't because some of those guys are out for the season, like Emmanuel Mosley. So, anyway, to recap my picks, I have Packers over Titans, I have Bears over Falcons, Eagles over Colts, Jets over Pats, Commanders over Texans, Saints over Rams, Bills over Browns, Ravens over Panthers, Stone Cold Lock. Pick'em game, New York over the Giants, or over the Lions. The Broncos over the Raiders. The Vikings over the Cowboys, pick'em game. Bengals over Steelers. Chiefs over Chargers. Cards over Niners.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was another episode of Just a Fan Podcast. I am your 1/4 host and Wildcat quarterback of the show, Brandon Williams.
We're running a 2 deep zone.
And this is the defensive hunter, Pando 316 right. Currently, we are live on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can also listen to us on Google, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Good night.
I don't like Kirk Cousins.